Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Today's topic is happier thinking for your career. Now, when I talk about a career, it means the work you do to earn a living that you spend most of your working day at. A career can be anything, though. It doesn't have to be something you go to college for. It can be just maybe a series of different types of jobs you've had. So your career is really what you do during most of your working time to earn a living and give you a way to take care of yourself, right? Your career is a way to take care of yourself. It used to be, career was always in the sense of a professional career, but I really don't think that that's good thinking. It's not happier thinking, because there's many different ways to make a living, to make a decent income, and to take care of yourself. So that's first. When I talk about a career, it's what you're doing to make a living. And you may have a series of different jobs, businesses, vocations, things you do to make that living over your life, and it can be continually evolving. So the happier thinking is, think in terms of working to take care of your needs and income, and whatever it takes to do that, go ahead and do it. You want to be making an income, right? That's what you want to be doing, is that income, so you're not let's say a burden on other people. So if you're not a burden on other people, they're going to like that. You're going to have more respect, and you won't be, the people who aren't taking care of themselves, that's really hard on the people who are, right? So let's say try to work your way to being fully employed, working far at a high enough level that you make enough money to take care of yourself, or at least if you're younger, be on the path to do that. And maybe there's times in your life where you're not able to work at a high level, but maybe you can at least be chipping in. Let's say you're a stay-at-home person with a child. Well, yeah, the big thing is taking care of the child, but maybe you can do some work to chip in some dollar signs to the family. Or maybe you're have a health problem and you can't work full time, but if you're working part time, you're probably helping to get the money into the family, into whoever you're living with, to help them. Help contribute. Maybe you're retired, maybe you got older and you retired, but you still have some ability to work part-time to contribute to your own retirement. So that's first. Making money is really, really important to your happiness and the quality of your life. I would argue that it's most important, even more important than health, because a lot of people are working who aren't healthy, right? I would say it looks to me like most people are really not that healthy, but they're mostly working and contributing. So health isn't necessary to work. It's good, it's the best, but it isn't necessary, right? It isn't a not thing. Just because you're not feeling well doesn't mean you shouldn't be working, right? Work first to give you a chance to get healthier. So I'm just laying that on the table. You want to make plenty of money to take care of yourself. The other thing about work is, and your career is, you might have to be making adjustments continually over your life, trying to fine-tune something that works well for you. And you may have to do something for periods of time that really doesn't work that well for you, but maybe you think of it in terms of, I'm getting experience in this, so I can do that, right? Or I'm having to stay here working at this job because that's where my life is right at the moment. I don't like the work, I don't like being here, but I'll do it here for a period of time until I can move on to the other thing that I really want to do. And sometimes having some patience is going to help you with the long-term happiness. So happiness is not only short-term, you also want it long-term. So you may have to be patient and put up with a lot of guff while you're getting the good job. I didn't get one of the greatest jobs I ever had until I was 48 years old, and I held that job for nearly 6 years. I left that job thinking I would go to something even better, but when I got into that work, it wasn't better. It was a lot worse. So I quit that job and got another job. So I'm currently in what I would consider my best job, the job that I'm most happy to be in, most qualified to do, let's say the best person able to do it at this time. And all the experience I had from before helps me to do this job at a very high level. But I'm 55 years old, right? So I didn't get the job until I was 55, 54. So that's where the patience comes in, you know. When I was younger, man, yeah, I was doing some job hopping, trying to find that perfect job, and you know, the problem with the youth is they're not that patient, and I certainly was not. I was always expecting things to be better, but they didn't become better until I got older. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be changing jobs. If it isn't working out, make changes. Quit and do something else. You know, most people, the easiest way is to, while you're working and paying your bills and making some money, send out your resumes and get a different job. We all do this. This is very common. You don't want to not be working for months while you're trying to get another job. You want to be working and paying your bills and having some spending money, and then you get the job. You know, the only problem with changing jobs is you may lose out on some of the accumulated benefits and the accumulated knowledge. But usually that, if you get into a place for a year or 2 or 3, all of a sudden you become the expert again. So it doesn't really take that long to become good at your career. So those are the two things, right? That your job, your career, they may be multifaceted, and you got to keep moving until you find that good job. And the third thing is, you don't want to be overly loyal to where you're working now. The loyalty, it has to work both ways. The employers, they haven't shown tremendous loyalty to their employees from my perspective. So loyalty is a two-way street. If the employer isn't loyal, well, there's no need for the employee. So where I am at in America, people continually start and stop jobs. It's no real big deal. The loyalty is only loyal while you're working there, and then at any time you can make a change and leave and start over at something else. And truthfully, this constant job hopping that people have been doing all these decades, that helps everyone, because usually there's a reason you leave one job for another, and maybe that one job that you left, they critically look inward and say, well, why did that person leave? What are we doing wrong that that person couldn't stay? And maybe they make improvements. I just was having lunch with a colleague, and the colleague mentioned that they're thinking about leaving to a different job, and then they kind of explained why. And even though I know that this person leaving, that will be a huge loss to where they're leaving from, maybe that will trigger where they're leaving from to make some improvements in how they do things. because that person brought up some excellent points about why they wanted to leave in the first place. So if more of us are willing to leave and try something else, maybe where we're leaving from will make improvements. Now I know if you're an employer, you're not going to want to hear this, right? You're going to say, no, I want all those people to stay no matter what, no matter how poorly I treat them, no matter how little I pay them, no matter how much I cut their benefits and profit from them. I expect, demand loyalty. Well, that's an old mindset, right? That should rightfully be shed. We all deserve a good life of some sort, right? And that would include how you make a living. So I think those are kind of the big things I wanted to talk about with your happier thinking in your career, right? I think give those ideas some thought. When you go to work each day, it should be, I should want to get to work. You know, and for the most part, I do. For the most part, I want to get up on Monday morning and hustle off to work, and I got a lot of things on my plate to do. And I don't mind, let's say, working hard at those things all day. And I don't mind thinking about, you know, the work and my when I'm not at work, thinking about it, and, you know, maybe coming up with some ideas. And I don't mind staying late some days to take care of some things. I don't mind rearranging my schedule if it seems like I ought to do that to help the employer. You should want to do it. It should be, yeah, I'll do it. It's my job. I'll do it. That's the attitude that you want to have going to work. So anyway, give those ideas some thought. All for now.